Live from KSAT12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And good morning to you. It is Friday. It is March 13th. And over the next hour or so, we're going to have a couple of big stories developing.
We have a press conference that's just been called by the city, and it's to update us on COVID-19 in our community.
That's right. And then at 10 o'clock, we've got the anticipated press conference from the Fiesta Commission with an update on the situation regarding one of the biggest public events of the year here in San Antonio, of course, Fiesta.
And all they've told us is it's in regards to the Fiesta schedule. We don't know any details if it's been canceled or postponed, but both of them we will bring you live.
We will. Top stories coming up as well, and we'll be checking with Katie on your weekend forecast, but we'd like to accentuate the positive, especially with all the news making headlines these days.
It's always nice to make you smile when it seems like every time you turn on the television or the radio or look at your phone, it's bad news. Well, here's some good news. Here's something to make you smile. A heartwarming photo has gone viral. It's a police officer sharing pizza with a homeless woman. This is it right there.
Goldsboro Police Department in North Carolina. The officer is Michael Rivers, been with the force there for 9 years. He has become known as the face of the homeless community. Wednesday, he came across a homeless woman never seen before. Her shirt caught his eye. It read, "Homeless, the fastest way of becoming a nobody."
Well, he had his windows down, so they made eye contact and they acknowledged each other. He said hi and drove away, but something kept tugging at him.
He said, "God put it on my heart to get her lunch. So I turned around and asked her, 'Hey, did you eat today?' And she said, 'No.'
So he grabbed pepperoni and cheese pizza from a nearby pizza shop, sat down on the grass, as you see right there next to her. They shared the pizza. He said that was great, but the conversation was even better.
Sat there 45 minutes, and as a matter of fact, the post clearly went viral. Someone put on Facebook, "Law enforcement does so much for our community with a lot of it going unnoticed. We see you, Goldsboro PD. Keep up the good work."
3,500 shares. And he said what he learned about her was she's just like everybody else. You know, people have a tendency to look down on homeless people like it's their fault. He said it isn't. She told him that she had a 12-year-old daughter who's battling liver disease and is in foster care, a 23-year-old son. Her husband is also homeless, and he was standing across the street as they conversed.
Rivers said, "I come to work. My method is, who can I bless today? Who can I make smile? I'm not the one who wants to take somebody's father or mother away and put them in jail." And the chief had nothing but high praise for Officer Rivers.
What a fantastic gesture and a lesson to all of us. I come to work and my method is, as you just said, who can I bless today? Who can I make smile? We should all say that every day.
Let's take a look at your GMSA rundown. And good morning to you. It is Friday, March 13th.
Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Now, American doctors are watching closely how Italy's healthcare system responds. Officials say Italy has more doctors and hospital beds per capita than the United States.
Head of the Fiesta San Antonio Commission did acknowledge that the coronavirus concerns could eventually force it to be postponed, maybe even canceled.
And overseas, the new European travel ban that goes into effect tonight, creating chaos at airports around the world as Americans try to get home.
Last night, PGA Tour sent out a tweet confirming the rest of the Players' Championship and all events through the Valero Texas Open have now been canceled.
Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson updated fans about their fight against the coronavirus in Australia. They shared a photo thanking everyone down under for taking such good care of them.
Police say their fellow officer was traveling southbound the AT&T Parkway when he ran into the side of a big rig. He was taken to SAMC with minor injuries.
This morning, the U.S. military has carried out airstrikes in Iraq in retaliation for an attack that killed 2 U.S. service members. The airstrikes targeted militia members backed by Iran, who the U.S. believe are behind the attack on the American soldiers. And the president of the U.S. Soccer Federation has resigned amid outrage over some controversial language he used in a court filing.
Precinct 4 Commissioner Tommy Calvert wrote a letter to Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf asking that independent forensic investigators the court called for be hired by the next Commissioner's Court meeting.
When Elizabeth became the longest ruling monarch in UK history, September 2015, when she passed her great-great-grandmother, Queen Victoria, who spent 63 years on the throne.
Former presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg took over Jimmy Kimmel's show.
As you know, I dropped out of the presidential race last week, which was unfortunate. But what can I say? Some candidates know when it's time to get out of the race. And some candidates are Tulsi Gabbard.
We saw a few more clips earlier today. The Mayor Pete did pretty good filling in.
He was actually funny.
Yeah, he was.
He had some self-deprecating humor on it, too, which I thought was hilarious.
That's always good. 9:02 right now.
Let's take a look outside with live cam. It is your Friday. We have super meteorologist Katie Blake in the house. And where's the sun?
Good morning. I know. It's hiding. We've got a lot of clouds again this morning. It's been warm and it has been muggy out there. And to top things off on this Friday the 13th, we have a pretty ugly pollen count. Oak and mold are both high today. So that, well, one of those two probably going to get you if you don't suffer from an oak allergy. Mold may cause you some issues today. Hackberry and mulberry are both low on this Friday. Things will be staying warm and humid not only today but also through the weekend. We could see a couple of isolated showers as we head into the back half of the weekend, but better rain chances look to settle in early and then through the middle part of next week. We'll talk all about that coming up in your full forecast. Mark and Leslie.
Thank you, Katie. We're looking right now 151 and 410 out there in that big construction zone. Traffic appears to be running smoothly in all directions, even on the frontage road.
Well, top stories that we're following for you today. The Cibolo Police Department has a man in custody following an hours-long standoff.
Started around 4 yesterday afternoon. Was one of our top stories here in KSAT. Happened in the 200 block of Willow Bluff. Police say a suspect barricaded himself in a home with a gun. After hours of negotiation, department posted on Facebook, the man had peacefully surrendered around 11:15 last night.
Well, the man has been identified as 34-year-old Eben Robert Ford. He's been charged with attempted capital murder.
Well, as we mentioned at the very top of the newscast, in just a matter of minutes towards the bottom of the hour, the city of San Antonio will be giving us an important update about the coronavirus.
They will be talking about several issues like preparedness and response. Mayor Ron Nierenberg, city council members, city manager, as well as director of Metro Health will all be a part of it. We will be taking that update live or when it happens right here on GMSA at 9 and also on KSAT12, so keep it here. Well, later today, Texas Governor Greg Abbott is expected to hold a press conference to address coronavirus concerns across the Lone Star State. The presser will take place at noon from the Texas State Capitol. The governor expected to address the state's continued effort to combat COVID-19. Representatives from the Texas Division of Emergency Management and the Texas Department of State Health Services expected to speak. Make sure you tune in to our later newscast and check KSAT.com for the latest information from this press conference. Coronavirus concerns have led to cancellations of large-scale events all around the world. That's so true. Here at home, Fiesta is still set to proceed as normal, but that could change in the next hour. Max Massey joins us live outside the Fiesta Commission on Broadway. So any indication of what they're going to announce at this press conference, Max?
Good morning, guys. We've seen more than a dozen Fiesta officials walk through these doors behind me. And the ones I've talked to had a smile on their face, but to answer your question, Leslie, no indication, no one really showing their hand just yet. So let's take a look at what we know thus far this morning. That press conference set for 10 a.m. this morning. The Fiesta Commission and city officials hosting it right here at the Commission office on Broadway. Now, the topic of the news conference, the Fiesta 2020 schedule. As of Tuesday, Fiesta was still set to proceed as scheduled, and that schedule was set for April 16th to the 26th. But in recent events, that may now change, considering all we've seen in just the last 48 hours. The Fiesta Commission Executive Director Amy Shaw telling us earlier this week, quote, "I would hate to see Fiesta canceled altogether. You know, postponement would be a much better alternative," end quote. So for now, guys, we wait until 10 a.m. and once we know, you will know. We'll be streaming this live on KSAT and KSAT.com, so make sure to stay tuned. 10 a.m. we should have the latest on the plans for Fiesta 2020. Mark, Leslie.
Thank you, Max. As the novel coronavirus spreads in the United States and across the globe, there are many questions about the virus, about how it spreads, and how we should react as individuals and communities. Here at KSAT, we've been getting a lot of your questions, and we've been reaching out to medical professionals for answers. This morning at 10:30, we'll be hosting a live stream answering some of your questions. You can submit them right now. Go to KSAT.com/coronavirus. Well, convicted of killing 2 babies and suspected of murdering dozens more, KSAT News at 9 uncovers a story behind one of the most shocking suspected serial killers in Texas history, Janine Jones. Here's a sneak peek of a special airing next week.
We all want to know why, and I don't know if we ever will.
There is no telling what damage Janine Jones had caused.
A new charge against a convicted murderer known as the Angel of Death.
It's real people that have a real stake in it, and there was a lot of stakeholders.
I trusted you with my daughter. It could have been anyone's child.
You should have to serve 1 year for every year of life you robbed from the babies that you murdered.
How could you do something like this to an innocent child?
A baby in a casket for anybody. It's hard, and to know that he was murdered.
We cannot, as a society, allow that to go unpunished.
This is one of those cases that you just don't forget.
In a Killer's Care airs Monday night on KSAT's digital-only newscast, The News at 9. You can watch it online at KSAT12 or any way you stream us.